War brings out the best and the worst in humanity. Across the chaos of World War II, millions fought with courage, but only a few became living legends. These were the men who faced the impossible and won. Today, we're counting down the 3 most decorated soldiers of the Second World War. And trust me, the #1 spot will leave you speechless. Honorable mentions. Heroes beyond measure. Before we begin, let's take a moment to recognize a few warriors whose courage deserves eternal remembrance. Leo Major, the one-man army from Canada, liberated an entire Dutch city by himself. Moving through Zwolle under the cover of night, he burned German positions, caused chaos, and convinced an entire garrison to surrender. For that, he earned the Distinguished Conduct Medal twice, once in World War II and again in Korea. Simo Häyhä, the Finnish sniper known as the White Death, defended his homeland with unmatched precision. In the frozen forests of the Winter War, he eliminated over 500 Soviet soldiers without ever being detected. And Vasily Zaitsev, the hero of Stalingrad, turned sniping into psychological warfare, taking out over 200 enemy soldiers and inspiring an entire army to hold the line. All of them defied the limits of human endurance. But now, we move to the top 3, the most decorated soldiers of the entire war. Number 3. Michael Wittmann, the Tiger of Villars, Bocage. Few names in tank warfare carry the same mix of fear and fascination as Michael Wittmann. Born in Bavaria in 1914, Wittmann joined the Waffen-SS before the war and quickly rose through the ranks, commanding one of the deadliest weapons of the era, the Tiger I tank. Wittmann first proved his skill on the Eastern Front, where he destroyed countless Soviet tanks and anti-tank guns, often outnumbered but never outgunned. His kill count skyrocketed over 130 enemy tanks destroyed by his own gunfire. His precision, speed, and nerve made him a living nightmare for Allied armor. Then came Villars-Bocage, June 13th, 1944. A British armored column advanced through the French countryside, confident and unaware. From behind a hedge, Wittmann struck. In under 15 minutes, he annihilated over 20 British vehicles, tanks, half-tracks, and trucks. It was one of the most shocking ambushes of the war. The attack turned him into a German national hero overnight. He received the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross with oak leaves and swords, one of the Reich's highest military honors. But his fame came with a price. On August 8th, 1944, his Tiger was destroyed by Allied tanks near Saint-Aignan-de-Cramesnil, ending his reign. Still, Wittmann's record 138 tanks and 132 anti-tank guns destroyed made him one of history's most effective armored commanders. Whether seen as a tactical genius or a tragic weapon of war, his name remains etched into the history of armored combat. Number 2. Charles Upham, the soldier who wouldn't break. At number 2 is a man whose courage was so extraordinary his superiors thought it was a clerical error. Charles Upham of New Zealand, the only combat soldier in history to receive the Victoria Cross twice. Before the war, Upham was a quiet farmer. You wouldn't have picked him out in a crowd. But when he joined the 2nd New Zealand Expeditionary Force, he proved that heroism doesn't always look the part. His first Victoria Cross came during the Battle of Crete in 1941. Facing elite German paratroopers, Upham led his men through days of brutal combat. Wounded multiple times, he refused evacuation. He charged machine gun nests, destroyed enemy posts, and inspired his men to hold the line when others would have fallen back. But it was his 2nd VC awarded for his actions in Egypt's first battle of El Alamein that sealed his legend. Despite being shot through the elbow, Upham led repeated assaults against entrenched German positions, hurling grenades with his one good arm. Later, shot again through the leg and captured, he still tried to escape not once, but several times, eventually ending up in the notorious Colditz Castle, a prison for incorrigible Allied officers. Upham never sought fame or recognition. After the war, he returned home to his farm and refused all offers of money or privilege. He insisted that the real heroes were the men who never came back. His courage was quiet, his heroism selfless. 2 Victoria Crosses, the highest honor in the Commonwealth, earned through nothing but grit, leadership, and unbreakable resolve. Number 1. Audie Murphy, the reluctant hero of America. At number 1 stands Audie Murphy, the most decorated soldier in American history and arguably the most reluctant hero of them all. Born to a poor Texas farming family in 1925, Murphy was small, wiry, and often underestimated. When he tried to enlist after Pearl Harbor, the Marines and the Navy turned him down for being underweight. But the U.S. Army took him in, and that decision would make history. Murphy's bravery became legend across Italy, France, and Germany. Again and again, he performed feats that bordered on the impossible. He earned the Silver Star twice for charging enemy positions alone, the Distinguished Service Cross for single-handedly assaulting a machine gun nest, and 3 Purple Hearts for wounds suffered in combat. But his most famous action, the one that earned him the Medal of Honor, came near Holtzwihr, France, in January 1945. As German forces advanced with tanks and infantry, Murphy ordered his men to fall back. Alone, he climbed onto a burning tank destroyer and manned its 50-caliber machine gun. For nearly an hour, he held off an entire German company, roughly 200 men, killing dozens and forcing the rest to retreat. He was out of ammunition, wounded, and surrounded by flames, but he refused to give ground. When reinforcements arrived, he led them in a counterattack to secure victory. By the war's end, Audie Murphy had received 33 medals, including every American combat decoration for valor and several from Allied nations. Yet he never glorified war. Haunted by nightmares, he struggled with what we now recognize as PTSD. After the war, Hollywood came calling. He starred in more than 40 films, including To Hell and Back, where he portrayed himself reliving the horrors that made him a legend. But beneath the fame was the same humble farm boy who once wrote home, saying, "I'm not a hero, but I served with a lot of them." Murphy's story isn't just about medals or records. It's about the cost of courage and what it means to stand when no one else can. Final words. The legacy of courage. From Wittmann's steel fury, to Upham's unbreakable spirit, to Murphy's lone stand on a burning tank destroyer, these were men forged in the crucible of war. They came from different nations, fought for different flags, and carried different beliefs. But they shared one thing. When the moment came, they refused to back down. Their medals tell a story not of glory, but of sacrifice of men who risked everything, not for fame, but for the soldiers beside them. If these incredible stories inspired you, hit like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a story of forgotten heroism. And tell us in the comments which soldier's story amazed you most. Was it the tank ace, the unbreakable New Zealander, or the farm boy who faced an army alone? Because history isn't just about what happened, it's about the people brave enough to make it happen.